Hello students, today we shall discuss one of the finest drama, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is a play written by Tennessee Williams. The objective of this program is to give you an overview of the American drama of the 20th century. The play analyzes the plantation home in the Mississippi Delta. The characters are Big Daddy Pollitt, a wealthy cotton tycoon. The play examines the relationships among members of Daddy's family, primarily between his son Brick and Maggie, the cat, Brick's wife. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof features several recurring motives such as social mores, greed, superficiality, mendacity, decay, sexual desire, repression, and death. The dialogue throughout is often rendered phonetically to represent accents of the southern United States. Now let me introduce the play to you. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof is a play by Tennessee Williams, one of Williams' best known works and his personal favorite. The play won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 1955. The story is of a southern family in crisis, especially the husband Brick and wife Margaret, usually called Maggie or Maggie the cat, and the interaction with Brick's family over the course of one evening gathering at the family estate in Mississippi. The party is to celebrate the birthday of the patriarch, Big Daddy Pollitt, the Delta's biggest cotton planter, and his return from Ochsner Clinic with what he has been told is a clean bill of health. All family members except Big Daddy and his wife Big Mama are aware of Daddy's true diagnosis. He is dying of cancer. His family has lied to Big Daddy and Big Mama to spare the aging couple from pain on Patriarch's birthday, but throughout the course of the day, it becomes clear that Pollitt family has long constructed a web of deceit for itself. Maggie, determined and beautiful, has escaped the childhood of poverty to marry into the wealthy Pollitts, but finds herself unfulfilled. The family is aware that Brick has not slept with Maggie for a long time, which has strained their marriage. Brick is an aging football hero, infuriates her by ignoring his brother, Gooper. Gooper's attempts to gain control of the family fortune. Brick's indifference and his drinkings have escalated with the suicide of his friend Skipper. Maggie fears that Brick's malaise will ensure that Gooper and his wife May end up with Big Daddy's estate. Through the evening, Brick, Big Daddy, and Maggie and the entire family separately must face down the issues which they have bottled up inside. Big Daddy attempts reconciliation with the alcoholic Brick. Both Big Daddy and Maggie separately confront Brick about the true nature of his relationship with his pro-football buddy Skipper, which appears to be the source of Brick's sorrow and the cause of his drinking. Brick explains to Big Daddy that Maggie was jealous of the close friendship between Brick and Skipper because she believed it had a romantic undercurrent. He states that Skipper took Maggie to bed to prove her wrong. Brick believes that when Skipper couldn't complete the act, his self-questioning about his sexuality and his friendship with Brick made him snap. Brick also reveals that shortly before he committed suicide, Skipper confessed his feelings to Brick, but Brick rejected him. Disgusted with the family's mendacity, Brick tells Big Daddy that the report from the clinic about his condition was falsified for his sake. Big Daddy storms out of the room, leaving the party gathered out on the gallery to drift aside. Maggie, Brick, May, Gooper, and Doc Baugh, the family's physician, decide to tell Big Mama the truth about his illness, and she is devastated by the news. Gooper and May start to discuss the division of the Pollitt estate. Big Mama defends her husband from Gooper and May's proposals. Big Daddy reappears and makes known his plans to die peacefully. Attempting to secure Brick's inheritance, Maggie tells him she is pregnant. Gooper and May know that this is a lie, but Big Mama and Big Daddy believe that Maggie has life. When they are alone again, Maggie locks away the liquor and promises Brick that she will make the lie true. Now, the important themes in the play: falsehoods and untruths. Mendacity is a recurring theme throughout the play. Brick uses the word to express his disgust with the lies and liars he sees around him, and with the complicated rules of social conduct in Southern society and culture. Big Daddy states that Brick's disgust with mendacity is really disgust with himself for rejecting Skipper before his suicide. With the exception of Brick, the entire family lies to Big Daddy and Big Mama about his terminal cancer. Furthermore, Big Daddy lies to his wife, and Gooper and May exhibit avaricious behavior in the attempt to secure Big Daddy's estate. In some cases, characters refuse to believe certain statements, leading them to believe that they are lies. A recurring phrase is the line, "Wouldn't it be funny if that was true?" said both by Big Daddy and Brick after Big Mama and Maggie respectively claimed their love. The characters' statement of feelings are no longer clear-cut truths or lies. Instead, they become subject more to certainty or uncertainty. This phrase is the last line of the play as originally written by Williams and again in 1974 version. The other theme is facing death. The ways in which humans deal with death are also at the focus of this play, as are the futility and nihilism some counter when confronted with imminent mortality. Similar ideas are found in Dylan Thomas's "Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night," which Williams excerpted and added as an epigraph to his 1974 version. These lines are appropriate as Thomas wrote the poem to his own dying daughter. Additionally, in one of his many drafts, in a footnote on Big Daddy's action in the third act, William deems Cat on a Hot Tin Roof a play which says only one affirmative thing about man's fate, that he is still in power, not to squeal like a pig, but to keep a tight mouth about it. Let us discuss the important characters in the play. The most important character in the play is Margaret, after whom the title Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Margaret, the play's cat. She is also called Maggie. Maggie's loneliness and Brick's refusal to make her his desire has made her hard, nervous and bitchy. The woman constantly posing in the mirror, Maggie holds the audience transfixed. The exhilaration of the play lies in the force of the audience's identification with its gorgeous heroine, a woman desperate in her sense of loneliness, who is made all the more beautiful in her envy, longing and dispossession. The next character is Brick. The favorite son and mourned lover, Brick embodies an almost typical masculinity. At the same time, the Brick before us is also an obviously broken man because of his repressed homosexuality, his desire for his dead friend Skipper, Big Daddy, the next most important character. Brick's father, affectionately dubbed by Maggie as an old-fashioned Mississippi redneck. Daddy is a large, brash and vulgar plantation millionaire who believes he has returned from the grave. Though his coming death has been quickly repressed, in some sense, Daddy has confronted its possibility. Big Mama, Brick's mother, fat, breathless, sincere, earnest, crude and bedecked in flashy gems. Mama is a woman embarrassingly dedicated to a man who despises her and in feeble denial of her husband's disgust. She considers Brick her only son. May, the next important character, a mean, agitated monster of fertility who schemes with her husband Gooper to secure Big Daddy's estate. May appears primarily responsible for the burlesque of familial love and devotion that she and his sisters stage before the grandparents. Gooper. A successful corporate lawyer, Gooper is Daddy's eldest and least favored son. He deeply resents his parents' love for Brick, viciously relishes in Daddy's illness, and rather ruthlessly plots to secure control of the estate. Reverend Tooker. He is a tactless opportunist and hypocritical guest at Big Daddy's birthday party. As Williams indicates, his role is to embody the lie of conventional morality. Especially in Act 3, his offhand anecdote about the colors of his cheap crucible fading into each other. Dr. Baugh. The sober Baugh is Daddy's physician. He delivers Daddy's diagnosis to Big Mama and leaves her with a prescription of morphine. The children. May and Gooper's children, they appear to be as grotesque, demonic, no-necked monsters who interrupt the action on stage. Under May's direction, they offer up a burlesque image of familiar love and devotion. The servants. The plantation servants appear throughout the play. Williams' references to Negro voices in the birthday scene, they appear to be laughing at the edges of the stage, functioning to almost ornament the grotesque tableau. Now let us discuss the plot overview. Brick is taking a shower in the bedroom he shares with his wife Maggie. While undressing, Maggie complains that his brother Gooper and his wife May have been having their monstrous children perform for Big Daddy, incessantly reminding him of his own childlessness. Now that Daddy is dying of cancer, May and Gooper are trying to cut them out of the estate. The doctors have lied to Daddy and Mama, claiming that Daddy only suffers from a spastic colon, but tonight the truth will be revealed. Brick is not helping any with his incessant drinking and much publicized stunt on the high school athletic field. Brick broke his ankle jumping hurdles. Maggie is confident of the advantage because Big Daddy dotes on Brick, abhors Gooper and his wife, and has a lech for Maggie herself. Suddenly, Maggie catches sight of Brick staring at her in the mirror. She cries that she knows she has become hard and frantic. Living with someone who does not love her has made her a cat on a hot tin roof. Fiercely, Maggie locks the door and draws the curtains. As she attempts to seduce him, Brick warns her against making a fool of herself. Maggie murmurs she has realized her mistake. She should not have confessed to making love with Skipper. Maggie continues and says that Brick and Skipper's love was sad and awful because it could never be satisfied or even talked about. Maggie recalls how, on the double dates in college, it always seemed the boys were out together. The night of the Thanksgiving game, Maggie confronted Skipper on his desire. He made a pitiful attempt to prove her wrong. Threatening to kill herself, Brick hurls his crutch at her. Maggie insists that now is her time of the month to conceive and they must make love. Brick wonders how she plans to have a child by a man who cannot stand her. Big Daddy enters ferociously and greets Brick. The servants enter with Daddy's cake and a grotesque sing-along commences. Daddy furiously orders everyone to stop. Mama sobs that he would never believe that she loved him. Wouldn't it be funny if that was true? Daddy murmurs. Daddy bellows for Brick. Maggie delivers him, giving him a kiss on the mouth that he immediately wipes off. Daddy asks Brick why he wiped off her kiss. May and Gooper have been saying that he won't sleep with Maggie. As Brick freshens his drink, Daddy asks him about his drinking problem. Brick cannot explain. Drawing Brick close, Daddy recalls his world tour with Mama. He anxiously closes the door and asks if Brick has ever been terrified of anything. He aims to cut loose and to get himself a woman. Brick explains that he has not gotten the click in his head that makes him peaceful, and he attempts to flee his father. Daddy makes Brick a deal. He will give him a drink if he tells him why he drinks. Daddy knows that Brick is lying since he started drinking when Skipper died. Daddy asks if there was something abnormal in their friendship. Daddy replies that having just come from Death's country, he is not easily shocked. Brick insists that his friendship with Skipper was clean and true until Maggie got the idea Daddy is talking about. Upon his back injury, she put the idea into Skipper's head and he became a lush and died. Daddy knows he's not telling the full story, and Brick says that Skipper made a drunken confession to him over the phone and Brick hung up on him. Brick's disgust with the mendacity is disgust with himself. Daddy curses the lying, dying liars around him and goes to bed. May appears and the family soon follows. Now that Daddy has gone to bed, they can finally talk. The family surrounds Mama and begins to tell her of Daddy's cancer. Mama calls for Brick, her only son. She implores Maggie to help straighten out Brick so he can take over the place. Gooper protests and says he has always resented Daddy's love for Brick. Gooper and May present Mama with a drafted will and Mama rejects it in disgust. Mama embraces the distant Brick, begging him to provide Big Daddy with a grandson before he dies. Suddenly, Maggie announces that she and Brick are going to have a child. Sobbing, Mama flees jubilantly to tell Big Daddy. May accuses Maggie of lying. Maggie thanks Brick for saving her face. Brick puts down 3 shots, finds his clique and exists indifferently. Maggie, forlornly, gathers Brick liquor bottles and locks them away, refusing to release it until he has sated her. Desperately, she declares her love for him. The distant Brick can only reply, "Wouldn't it be funny if that was true?" Let us discuss the other themes in the play: manliness and homosexuality. Like many of Williams' works, Cat concerns itself with the elaboration of a certain fantasy of broken manliness. In this case, a manliness left crippled by the homosexual desire it must keep in abeyance. Brick is Cat's broken man, the favorite son and the longed-for lover of a wealthy plantation family. He possesses the charm of those who have given him up and assumes a pose of indifference before the world. Brick, a brick of a man, embodies an almost archetypal masculinity. Brick's enviable coolness, however, is the coolness of repression, a repression that keeps his desire at bay. Brick is an alcoholic who cannot avow the desire in his relationship with his dead friend Skipper. Turning from his desire, he has depressively distanced himself from the world with a screen of liquor. He is reduced to the daily, mechanical search for his clique that gives him peace. Brick mourns his love for Skipper, a love imagined in almost mythic dimensions. For Brick, it is the only true and good thing in his life. His mourning is made all the more difficult by the desire he cannot avow. As Maggie notes, theirs is a love that dare not speak its name, a love that cannot be satisfied or even discussed. Thus, Daddy, assuming the position of judge, will force Brick to confront his love. Brick's attempts at dodging him are crucial to the way the play imagines manliness. As Daddy approaches what has been tenuously repressed, Brick empties his words of all significance as he tells Daddy that talks never materialize and nothing is really said. When Daddy presses him, Brick reveals why he yearns for solid quiet. Ultimately, the revelation of the desire in his friendship with Skipper cracks Bill's cool. His horror at the thought of being identified with the litany of epithets that he recites, his disgust at the gossip mongers about him, only points to a fear that they might be true. Let us discuss the lie in the play. As Brick pronounces to Big Daddy, mendacity is the system in which men live. Mendacity here refers to mores that keep what Williams dubs the inadmissible thing, that is repressed at all costs. The two primary objects of repression in Cat are Brick's homosexual desires and Daddy's imminent death. After the men are forced to confront these secrets, Mama will desperately invest all her future hopes in the dream of Brick becoming a family man. The responsibilities of fatherhood would somehow stop his drinking, the estate would go to the rightful heir, and the perpetuation of the family line through Brick is Daddy's immortality. The idyllic fantasy of the family restored, however, is yet another of the play's lies or Maggie's invention of a coming child. The Cat on a Hot Tin Roof refers to a particular fantasy of femininity and feminine desire. The play's primary cat is Maggie, a typically hysterical, dissatisfied Williams heroine who prostrates herself before Brick. Maggie's loneliness has made her a cat hard, anxious, and bitter. The exhilaration of Williams' dramaturgy lies in the force of the audience's identification with this heroine. She is desperate in a sense of lack, bound to a man who does not want her, and made all the more beautiful in her envy, longing, and disposition. Maggie's disposition also rests in her childlessness. Certainly, her childlessness calls her status as normal wife and woman into question. Without a child, moreover, her and Brick's place in Daddy's household is not assured. The child functions entirely here to assure their bid as Daddy's rightful heirs. Relationship between the father and son as an important motive in the play. In The Cat on Hot Tin Roof, the father and son appear in a decidedly narcissistic relation. Daddy's narcissistic love for Brick is clear. As William notes, Brick bears the charmingly masculine indifference Daddy must have in his youth. As Mama will note at the close of the play, Daddy wants above all that Brick provide him a grandson who is as much like his son as Brick is like himself. Brick is his rightful heir, his means of immortality. The mirror relationship between the men becomes especially clear. Brick and Daddy will show down over their respective secrets. Both Daddy's sojourn in Death's country and Brick's being almost not alive in his drunkenness make them accidentally truthful. Thus, unlike the characters about them, they present themselves as the only ones who have never lied to each other. Both stand on polar limits of a system of mendacity that is life, Brick being the drunkard and Daddy the dead man. Father and son will come to double each other in their roles as revealer and recipient of the other's inadmissible thing. Thus, Daddy will force Brick to confront the desire in his friendship with Skipper and receive his death sentence in return. In matching the revelation of his repressed desire with that of Daddy's death, Brick turns things upside down. Daddy comes to stand in the place he just occupied. The revelation is a violent act robbing Daddy of his second life. As Brick, the duality of the exchange has just ensured. You told me, I told you. Brick and Daddy's final struggle marks the reverse side of the narcissistic love between them. The aggressive logic of either you or I go between those who mirror each other too closely. The other important characters in the play, the children. Against the beautiful childless couple, the image of the family and the mother in particular will appear hilariously grotesque. May and Gooper have spawned a litter of no-necked monsters fit for the country fair. May, the cotton carnival queen, besmirched by proxy, is a monster of fertility, and the sounds of the screeching children continually invade the scene. This side of the family will continually stage burlesques of familial love and devotion, such as Daddy's birthday party in Act 2. There are other interesting points in the play. The offstage telephone. Cat makes great use of off-stage sound, marking the presence of spies in the household. The telephone rings a number of times. Initially, Mama and Maggie's conversations rehearse the lie that keeps Big Daddy and Mama ignorant of what is afoot, the lie that Daddy will live. The telephone will then turn at Brick's and Big Daddy's showdown to prove the revelation of what has remained inadmissible until then. Here, a phone call, as if a call from the dead, evokes Skipper's final confession to his friend. Upon Brick's revelation of Daddy's cancer, the telephone communicates Daddy's unspoken protest. No, you got it all wrong, upside down. Are you crazy? The other theme in the play is the exotic lands. Before confronting Brick on Skipper, Daddy takes a rather strange detour through his travels with Big Mama to Europe and North Africa. Daddy's memories of his travels introduce a motif familiar to Williams' readers: the Mediterranean, North Africa as a primal space, a space savagery, lawlessness and sexual excess, all things that civilization would repress. These exotic locales and the inhabitants become ciphers for the desires that remain repressed at home. It is not for nothing that later Brick tells of a fraternity pledge that flees to North Africa when the brother discovers that he is a sodomite. The symbols in the play. First, Brick and Maggie's bed, the place where, as Big Mama will subsequently observe, the rocks in their marriage lie belongs to the plantation's original owners, Jack Straw and Peter Okello. As Williams writes, the ghost of the men's love haunts the stage. Secondly, a gloriously grotesque console combining a radiophonograph, television and liquor cabinet towers over the room. As Williams notes, it serves as a shrine to the comforts and illusions behind which we hide from things the characters face. Notice the movements when Brick will turn on the radio, refresh his drink, thereby raising a screen between him and the household. Finally, we should note Brick's phallic crutch. Its removal at the hands of Maggie and Big Daddy symbolize Brick's castration, a castration concomitant with the revelation of his unmanly homosexual desires. This crippling of the most masculine of men is crucial to Brick's sexiness. The crutch's continuous restoration and removal, in a sort of game of now he has it, now he doesn't, appeals to the fetish one. This was a short discussion on A Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, one of the finest plays written in